Forgot how silly this pet is. Anyways, hey everyone, welcome back to another video. As you can see, we're back on the second account, and it's been a while again. Also, do forgive me for sounding a little bit weird if my voice sounds a little odd. I am somewhat a little bit sick, but I'm starting to feel a little bit more better. So yeah, I decided might as well hop into this account again. It's been almost the entirety of this month already, which, god dang, this month have really passed by for this year. But anyway, there's not really much to talk about as of recently. I'll talk about that a little bit later throughout the matches. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into the matches. You know, the one thing that I would like for them to do in terms of the raids mode, just have it where you don't necessarily need to have an entire team filled in order to just queue up the match. I feel like it'll be a lot more better to just have a timer. Some sort of like small duration of time for the team to be filled, and if it can't be able to fill once the timer hits 0, then it'll just still continue to queue up the match. I feel like it'll be a lot more better in terms of with like modes like raids. So there are probably a few things I could talk about in this video. I mean, the one which is one that was really unexpected is with them announcing that the game would be available on the Epic Games Store. Which I've seen a lot of people question, what's even the point with the game being available on the Epic Games Store if it's already available on Steam for about almost like 1 or 2 years now. You know, with April coming up, it'll probably make it about 2, so yeah, make it like 1 to almost like 2 years since the Steam release was, you know, debuted. A lot of people came up with their reasons on why would it be available on the Epic Games Store. One, I would say, was just a lot more definitive, is more accessibility to it to just download the game. But there's some people that are probably out there that solely use the Epic Games Store, which, if that's the case, no judging. You do have Steam, which is a lot more, I guess, superior than the Epic Games Store in terms of a lot of different ways. That's compared to the Epic Games Store. But again, there's probably some people that are out there that uses the Epic Games Store and solely for it. But most of the time when it comes to like the Epic Games Store, the other thing that comes in mind in terms of the Epic Games Store is obviously downloading Fortnite from it, and as well as the free games that they would offer periodically. It's probably good sole purpose for the Epic Games Store. And from the link that they provided, it seems it's only going to be available on the PC edition. It's going to be available on PC. But I thought it was going to also be available on mobile as well, since it's also available to download from mobile as well, not just solely from the PC edition. Though I think it's going to just like increase the player base a little. I wouldn't necessarily say that it would. But some people might stumble upon this game in the Epic Games Store once it fully releases, which you can get the wishlist it right now. But I guess the only downside when it comes to the Epic Games Store is you can't necessarily just track the amount of players that are playing on the game, as to oppose with like Steam having SteamDB. So yeah, but from what I've been predicting, it's gonna be somewhat of a slight surge, but not really a lot. Also, one thing I've sort of been seeing a lot of people say is that they think that Fortnite would do some sort of collab with Pixel 3D, which is very unlikely, I meant to say. Yeah, which is very unlikely for them to somewhat do. Could you imagine if they have Robbie as a companion? I feel like it will work well. Have the pickaxe being. I'm not really sure what you can even have for the pickaxe. I mean, there's a lot of melees that the game can somewhat use as a pickaxe. One thing I'll probably say from the top of my head already is the Knight's Axe. Or maybe I guess with the Battle Shovel, I guess, if you will, or probably with the Miner weapon. I do think the War Axe will probably be a lot more better. But given how the appearance of the War Axe or the Miner Shovel would look like, I feel like it will fit well with it. So far, this match has been going pretty well, not necessarily anything too crazy. There we go. Grab this. Oh, now we wait. Never mind. I currently lost one person, but you know, we've got to run well as a trio. That's why I cleared away quickly. There we go. So far, just the only one that carried here. Not many of my teammates were ready to do that much, but hey, at least one thing we managed to just complete the match either way. Our next matchup here, we got some Sky Islands, which I wouldn't necessarily say was one of my favorite maps. I'd say it's probably a decent map. Am I gonna question myself here? I'm gonna need to check on something real quick. Well, my suspicion was right. Damn, even on an old ID as well. What a shame. Well, we're back on some Sky Islands again. Seems like a fresh lobby. Didn't make sure just in case the player wasn't there. I was always questioning, because most of the time when it comes to like this type of players, you don't necessarily encounter them until once you get to like level 50. And currently where I am now, currently level 38. That's how the unfortunate part with the matchmaking system being. Until you do is get to level 65. Also, there's a few weapons that I've sort of been requesting for them to have available at the gallery. The unfortunate part is that I have to be at a certain level in order to access them. That being with like the Jet Tenderizer as well as the energy drill. I don't even do much here. There's not really much I can do. I feel like these guys are covering pretty well for me. Yeah. It makes you wonder if they're going to do is return the rare and epic weapons from the armory that used to be in the armory, but now have been converted to parts. And do you think they do is return them back into the armory again? Which is a bit of unlikely for them to do. Like, there's no point in trying to just like remove them from the armory, just like convert them into parts that they get from the lottery. So might as well play out the last match for this video, being Coliseum. It does seem that's going to get removed next season with this map rotation. What is going to be unfortunate is this map hasn't necessarily been out for that long. Like from November. I think from like November to I think like January now. Or February. Which honestly this map would be a lot more useful for events that would require elims, like for example with the lock and load, as well as the pixel poly, which I've heard is returning, but with a few experimental changes. It's probably gonna be impossible to secure first place. Second place we've already secured already. Unless we have to rely a lot on the rocket launcher. At the same time. Seems it's gonna be unlikely. Might as well. And we still haven't actually completed. Well, didn't expect that to go that well. Magically secure first place. I'll say the RPGs. can be a lot more better nowadays. I think the RPG is pretty useful nowadays. I know not many players would use it nowadays because travels time or with rocket speed, but it could be pretty useful. But yeah, might as well end off the match like that. And might as well end off the video like this as well. But anyways, that's gonna do for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm bad on my part for not necessarily uploading videos on this series. Sort of been busy and such, so I couldn't necessarily just have the time to get to do is record these type of videos. Apart from the short form videos I would usually do, which might be a little more different next month in February. Since there's only a few days left for this month, as well as a few days or about a week for this season, so we'll see where we'll go from there. But anyways, that's gonna do for me. And as always, have a good day or night whenever you're watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next video.